Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
I mentioned something about TSA yesterday, but today, the TSA, there's a story out from the Washington Times. TSA bragged about gun seizure success rate ahead of a new failure report. Expert says 95% failure rate from day one. Yeah. They have to, take your clothing, right? Those scanner things takes pictures of you as if you were nude through your clothing. So this week's report that the TSA failed to, they failed because they said, this stuff, nobody's going to see your nude pictures from the TSA, right? And then they ended up being on the internet. This week's report that the TSA failed to spot 95% of contraband weapons snuck through in tests of airport screeners comes just a few months after the agency bragged about the good job it was doing in sniffing out guns and other weapons. More than 2,000 guns, an average of 6 a day, were discovered by Transportation Security Administration screeners in 2014. The agency said in a post declaring the seizures a great year. But the failure rate in the new classified report suggests that the rate of those that got through could be much higher. Now lawmakers in Capitol Hill are wondering why the agency was touting its success even as investigators were spotting holes. And we've been, we've heard about all these holes before, both at the gate, screening at the gate, and in the luggage department area. People putting stuff into their luggage that then gets put into the airplane's cargo hold or luggage hold. But look, we've already, the TSA. Look, we have to understand that millions of people get screened by them per day. Totally get it. But the problems that they have at the TSA and that have, that really do damage to personal liberty and personal privacy that happens on a daily basis is mind-boggling. And yet all of this contraband is still able to get through. Now, let me repeat that, folks. It's still able to get through. So what does that what does that say about you feeling safe in your air travel? Are they really? The TSA is yet to foil and catch a hijacking, an attempted they still haven't done it because they're not really originating from here, and grannies and nuns are really not the criminal, the terrorist. I mean, they're missing weapons and they're missing detecting weapons and missing detecting explosives, and that's one of the things you're supposed to be able to really sniff out, because you got to, all your products that you have to have, like your shampoo and your liquid soap and your toothpaste and stuff, they have to be in these tiny, tiny tubes. And these tiny, tiny tubes have to be in a plastic bag, clear plastic bag, and you've got to take it out of your bag and place it on top of your bag so the TSA agent can not only see them, but so it can be x-rayed going through. And, but they're still missing. How are they still missing stuff? I don't know how you're, by the way, as a side note that has nothing to do with, it might. Marijuana church is given a tax exempt status in Indiana. Now, my question is that if you're a member of the marijuana church, are you going to be able to get your marijuana on board, or will the TSA confiscate it? And then if they confiscate it, will it actually be confiscated, or will they be using it to self-medicate in the back rooms? Look, there are all kinds of crazy things that go on behind the scenes of any organization. And this is the truth. We know this. So to think that the TSA is not doing crazy things is really kind of naive. Now, ABC News reported Monday that investigators from the Homeland Security Inspector General's office had managed to sneak contraband material by TSA screeners in 67 of 70 tests they ran. 67 of 70. Now, for being harassed and harangued while going to the airport and being forced to take off your shoes and your belt, and being forced to stand with your hands up like your guns pointed at you inside these stupid, nudie radar picture takey thingies, you would assume that the failure rate would be a lot less than 95%. What are you going through all that stuff for? Why are you taking off your shoes and opening your laptop and turning it on? And why is your camera being scrutinized? And why do you have to put your toothpaste and shampoo into little tiny bottles and then put it in a baggie? And why do you gotta take off your belt and then go through this nude X-ray machine if they're still gonna miss 95%? It's all for nothing. Well, we're stopping that 5%, Rod. That's important. But basically, think about it. You go through all of those steps just to find out that somebody on the plane that you're getting on most likely got something through, even though they have no nefarious ambitions whatsoever. They most likely got something through that they shouldn't get through. They may have even forgotten that they had it or didn't realize that it shouldn't be something they shouldn't have, but they got something through on your flight. I just think about that. I know, Rod, you can't do that. You're going to make people feel uncomfortable and unsafe. Well, you know what? You got to hold people accountable and hold their feet to the fire. If they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then why are you paying them? And we're paying all these TSA, and these are not low-paying jobs at the TSA. And they're government jobs, for one, so they're, they got good bennies, and as they say, and that kind of thing. But they're not doing their job. If 95%, if they failed 95% of the time to detect nefarious stuff from getting through the process, that's not safety. Now, one could argue if it was flipped and said only 5% gets through, you could say, well, okay, that's a good ratio. We can improve on it. We need to get that number down to 1% or less because all it takes is 1, right? But where do you start when you're starting? It's one thing when you're at 5% and you want to go to 3% and then 1% and then 0. It's another thing when you're starting at 95%. And if you want to cut it in half, if you're at 5%, you want to cut it in half. It's 2.5%, right? If you're at 95%, where you're at 47.5% is your cut in half, or still almost half of the nefarious stuff is going to get through. That's a goal. Now, the story continues. This news raises serious questions about the TSA's competence and could undermine their previous claims. Now, this past January, TSA bragged about stopping an average of 6 firearms a day last year. But now Americans aren't sure if that's a measure of success or a